try to get this thing again. Another run for. We holding those L's right now. It's crazy right now, and we just gonna have to figure this thing out. Andrea, really appreciate you. Harold, thank you for tuning in to the nation. Also, Donald, really appreciate you. We lost. There's no other way around it. We can talk about the players didn't execute. That's the normal battle cry now. But we're 7-8, and there's no way in life that if we can look at this team and say, this team is going to be 7-9 or 7-8 starting off, or this team is going to be below 500. There's nobody that had this expectation. And now, here's the thing. Where do we go from here? What do we do from here? What do we look at from here? How do we let this creep into our mental complexity? What do we do now, Cowboy Nation? I can tell you that a lot of people are now having strong reservations on Dak Prescott. Some people can say, well, he never meant to have this position anyway. And a lot of people have their reservations on number 19 as Amari Cooper. I can say that, yeah, you can try to put the toothpaste back in the tube and say, well, you know, we would never get this far. Well, we wouldn't get this far if it was because of these guys or because of that guy. I saw multiple opportunities when we were 3rd and 1 that they tried to get too cute. They tried to put lipstick on a pig, and they said, okay, let's give it a kiss. No, a pig is a pig. And at this point, they looked at this game and they spoiled the opportunities. There was a lot of drop balls. There was a lot of balls that was too high for the receivers. They had to climb a ladder. And I recall I was talking to my guy, Big Game James, and we was talking about this too. We was talking about the fact that if you look at all of the other teams, and this is no indictment, or this is not a case or a scenario, whereas I'm saying that Jason Witten is trash. But what I'm saying is Jason Witten is trash. There's nowhere else we can put at it, because we understand that he's a Hall of Famer. Yes, he did a great thing for the Cowboys organization, but the reality of it is that he's not going to give us the necessary yards that we need. And of course, we love Jason Witten, but his career is gone, just like his hair. It's gone. It's gone. You can't get it back. Cowboy Nation, you can't. But if you look at these other teams like the Travis Kelce's of the worlds, the Mark Andrews or whatever the other kid named Hayden Hurst over there in Ravens land. If you look at all of these other teams, even if you want to think about it. The kid that played for the 49ers. Tight ends will always be the quarterback best friend. Using and running the routes that Randall Cobb is running, he's 5'9" on a good day. He's not going to catch those passes. He's not. He's flat out is not going to catch those passes that's miles high above his head. We just saw the Philadelphia Eagles win because they utilized a tight end. That's what they did. We saw that. We was able to see that. And I'm telling people all the times.
Jack, for fans or media looks at this and sees all these prolific offensive players on your team. You've got 4,000 yards, 2,000 yard receivers, 2,000 yard running back, 3 or 4 offensive line Pro Bowlers. Here you are at 7 and 8. How can you explain that?
Yeah, stats don't matter. Stats, numbers, statistic, accolades, none of that stuff matters. It's about the best team that's out there, and it takes all 11. Not 11 great individuals, but the best 11 that makes the team. And we're a good team, don't get me wrong. I love each and every one of those guys. We love each other. We're a great brotherhood. But we just didn't get the job done tonight, and we haven't throughout the season, and we've put ourselves in a position where we're dependent on someone else.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
It's Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. The postgame show brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Also, when it comes time to shop for your tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys lose to the Eagles 17-9. Their season is still alive. They need to win against the Redskins and have the Eagles lose. I saw this from David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. He tweets, why weren't Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb on the field for the Cowboys' fourth down chance to tie the game?
Sure.
Jason Garrett said both players were on the field for a lot of plays in the 2-minute offense and needed a rest. Cooper said it was part of a normal rotation.
Yeah.
That is, that's just
so unheard of in that important time of the game.
It's 4th and 8. Your season's on the line.
Absolutely.
The idea that you're just, it's just any other play in a series of plays. They just happen to be out in the rotation for that particular play. Like, that is just the most ignorant dismissal. How do you not, in any capacity, have anybody take more responsibility for, that's an egregious mistake.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To not have your best playmakers on the field for your season.
Yeah. Maybe they weren't your best playmakers. That's the problem you run into as you look at this game today. Amari Cooper was not a factor in this football game at all.
Has been a factor in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's the problem. And you look at overall, and you need something. Last week, I go back to last week when you talk about the fool's gold. You were right. You were absolutely right about that. I wanted to believe that this team had really kind of turned things around. Offensively, I felt like offensively they were going to do enough to win this football game today. Carson Wentz, give him a lot of credit, but the fact that they didn't have Amari Cooper, that, again, you want to talk about coaching? You want to talk about, having the best players out there and not having them out there? That's on the staff. But how about Amari Cooper going out there and making a play? How about somebody going out there and how about the quarterback making a good throw once or twice to kind of get that game going? How about the offensive line? Protect a little better. How about some running lanes? Now, how about not fumble the ball? The Eagles tried to give you there. They tried. Missed a couple of field goals. Then they are all banged up. Yeah, you are what you are. And we've said this before, but we keep, I'm one of these guys that kept going back and thinking, oh, they got this thing figured out now. One game didn't, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that on the one game. They had a chance to go win the division tonight. Their big time players just needed to make some plays against some guys that really aren't very good for Philadelphia.
Can you remember a season as disappointing as this one? I mean, the one that comes to mind would be the year that Wade Phillips was fired.
Well, 13-3, Dak's first year, you lose to Green Bay on that, that's all you had to do. You had home field advantage. You lose to the Packers. I know it's Aaron Rodgers.
But in terms of expectations going into the season,
well, no,
considering that they're going to end the season 8-8 at best with, second place finish in the NFC East.
Considering
what the expectations were for this team, talking Super Bowl before the season started.
It's disappointing because these guys that you thought were really good players for them might not be.
We still heard Dak Prescott multiple times mention we're too talented of a team.
He has to keep saying that, though. He's the one guy that has to stand up there in front of the media and answer all those questions. They ought to parade all those wide receivers up there and ask them questions too, and the offensive line and the running back. And they ought to get them all.
The worst part about all this seemingly is we have an answer on Jason Garrett, right? I mean, Jason Garrett is not going to be
He's not going to be your coach,
in 2020.
Absolutely, yeah.
We don't have our answer on Dak Prescott, do we? We don't have our answer on Amari Cooper, do we? We have decisions to be made in terms of compensation for those guys, and we don't know what the answer is with those guys.
I was one of those guys that was coming around on Dak Prescott. I'd even talked about, let him throw the ball. 30, 35 times. That's what you have to do because he could do that. But he has the last several weeks, when he's had to throw the ball 40 plus times, his team just isn't as good. And that's a fact. You can give me all the analytics you want, but if this team does not have balance, they're just not as good. That's a fact. Their winning percentage is horrible when he throws the ball for over 40 times a game.
It's crazy because they have two 2,000-yard receivers this year. It's the first time since 2010 they have it. They have a 1,000-yard rusher, a 4,000-yard passer.
Yeah.
And it's just so empty. With Brian Broaddus, I'm Ari Temkin. Cowboys lose 17-9. Looks like they've lost their season as well. We'll hear from you at 877-881-1053. You can call or text.
All right, Cowboy Nation. Boy, I'm almost lost my voice over here. Hey, we're going to have to figure out something. They on commercial break. Let's figure out a way. You guys can let me know in the comment box when they off for commercial break, and we can get back going. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. We got to figure out ways, because at the end of the day, the season is over with at this point. We shouldn't allow or rely on the actual next team to lose in order for us to get into the playoff. We should have took care of business when business was there, and we'd have been able to do something. How do you guys feel about that? We just too soft as it relates to defense and offense. We just too soft right now. We are. We are just too soft.
Quest a rock.
In that particular situation, a 4th and 8, your season's on the line. We heard Amari Cooper say that it was part of a normal rotation for he and Cobb to be out. Jason Garrett also mentioned that both players were on the field, Cobb and Cooper, for a majority of the 2-minute offense. I'm at a loss for words. It's stunning. I mean, you almost would be rather fed a whole bunch of BS of injuries and whatnot, as opposed to that. Like, that just makes it seem like they're completely and utterly unorganized. Yeah. At best, this is coaching negligence. I just can't. Sure. It's never lost in one particular play, but this is the one that's so glaring and so bad and so mismanaged and so perfectly what they've been this season.
Yeah. But see, that's what we talk about. We talk about the head coach has to be the difference maker in a tough, tight game. And the difference maker tonight didn't do anything to help his football team. I'm going to go back, and going back through this game, and I think about where things kind of turned. And you remember the 4th and 1 call where the Eagles go for it though, and they have the incomplete pass to the tight end.
Yes.
Okay. And then the Cowboys get the ball, and they basically waste that series. You get a big play, you get an 18-yard pass to Gallup. Zeke has a -4. Witten misses the ball. Or he misses, Witten misses the block. Right. Or actually, excuse me, Jarwin misses the block. Then he misses Witten. Then he gives the ball to Witten for 6. Then they have to punt. Eagles get the ball back, 4th and 10. Eagles punt back to you. Then you have Zeke for 10. He throws the ball too high for Dalton Schultz. Amari gets a 6-yard reception. Then you get the 3rd and 4 drop. That's just 2 wasted series right there in that game. I mean, you do a great job. You kind of get things squared up defensively. You get them off the field on a 4th and 1, and then you just waste back-to-back series.
Let's talk.
That's hard. That's a hard thing to deal with.
Let's talk with play-by-play voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, joining us here on the postgame shows. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 17-9. Cowboys fall to 7-8 on the season. And
really appreciate
Brad, heard you mention during the broadcast.
I mean, it's back together.
A lot of this is on the offense. Defense in 2019 gives up 17 points. Offense only musters 9. That's that's the offense's issue.
Yeah, I mean, today, to me, look, they know what they wanted to do. They wanted to come into the game being physical and establishing the run. The Eagles had a great deal of pride. They're a good run defense anyway, one of the best in the league, and they decided, no, that's not going to happen today. So if you're a good team, then you have to find another way to go out and do what you want to do. And they did. They left at least 3 touchdowns on the field between a combination of poor passing, which I would attribute to Prescott's shoulder because it's just not what we've seen all year, but he missed some throws and a half dozen drops that were absolutely critical. The plays were there, but the players weren't able to make them.
Yeah, Brad, and, we talk about the coaching and this and that and the other, but can you walk us through what you saw at the end of the game with they get in the 4th down situation and they talk about the rotation of the wide receivers? And Nick Eatman asked a question in the press conference, should you have used a tight end to make sure you had the right personnel on the field? Is that a fair criticism with not having your best players on the field in that particular situation?
Well, yes, I think certainly it's a legitimate question, and the explanation that we're getting is that Cooper had just run a 7 route, and he appeared to them to be gassed. They didn't think that he had enough left, and they had a fresh player, and so they're ready to go. Now, you just saw a guy trying to play with a broken ankle at left guard, and so I think you want your top receivers to want to be on the field even if they're a little short of breath, and you would love to have the guy say, no, you're not taking me out. I'm not losing the game in this situation. So that part would be on the player. And then to the extent that the coaching staff said, no, we're going to put somebody else in on this play, on what could be the last play, yeah, I think that's a fair question to ask them.
Yeah, and Brad, just can you kind of talk about what you saw from Amari Cooper in this game? We talked about the drops and stuff, but really it's been more about not only this game, but other games. What do you think? Would you like to offer an opinion of what you think might be going on there?
I don't know. I'm not sure that I have the feeling that there's anything going on. I thought the one route, Babe pointed it out, Ryan, the one route that he ran was flat where the ball got knocked away.
Sure.
He had, and so that you needed a better route. There were the first 2 targets I know were single coverage.
Right.
And they broke it up, and you just want your star receiver to win. Now, I think that you pay attention to all that. The kind of lurking behind the question is, do you want to sign the guy and bring him back?
There we go.
And the answer is yes, I do.
Sure.
Because I think he's really, really good. And at the same time, I think yes, you want to see him make those plays. I think both things can be true.
Brad, you've watched a lot of Cowboys football. Where does this go in terms of disappointing seasons in the last couple of decades of Cowboys football?
Very near the top. It's very high because the expectations were so great. When they're bad, and you kind of think that it's going to be a long shot for them to be good, then it's disappointing. But you really didn't expect more than that. But I thought coming out of last year that they had a chance to really be something special. I thought that they had a chance, certainly after coming out of camp. I didn't see any reason why they wouldn't be really, really good. And certainly after the first 3 weeks, we thought that. I think when we dissect the season, which it's not time to do yet, because
sure,
if you don't think the Eagles are capable of losing in New Jersey next week, then we haven't been paying attention to this division. They're capable of losing that game. So the hard part for the Cowboys coaching staff will be to convince the players to give everything they have to put into this game with Washington, because you won't know in advance whether it's for naught. It might be for everything. And that being said, this was a season where they made some great strides offensively in some areas, and I thought the defense really let them down throughout most of the year. And then there were 2 or 3 games, and this was one of them, where the defense was probably good enough. What was the score? 17-9.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said to a couple people before the game, if they can hold it to 20, I think they'll win.
Yeah.
And they did. And I thoroughly dislike the word should, but this was a difficult game to see get away in the season. Ari, to answer your question, for me, it's one of the most disappointing seasons I've seen in a very long time because the expectations were high, because I thought there were players who let you down, and people can talk about the coaching all they want, but those coaches coached the same way last week that they did this week, and they coached the same way last week that they did against the Bears, the same way against the Eagles in October as they did against Green Bay. All of the preparation is the same, and at some point, now the coaches are going to be the ones who pay. There's guys with families who are going to lose their jobs, and they're going to have to move across the country and be uprooted. And for me, it's mostly on the players, and I think you have to the front office. I think you have to reevaluate some of the players and see, do you want them back? Which I think is kind of the essence of the question, Brian, that you're asking.
Right.
About Cooper. And in his case, like I said, I do want him back.
He said mostly the
players. I
think
it's a fair thing to say that you would have liked to have seen a few more plays out of him in this game today.
Well, Brad, was there a point in time, and I was watching this game, and as the Eagles kept losing players, I was just waiting for Dallas to make that run. And it just never came.
Players, but when they gave him 2 opportunities,
the missed field goals. No, and we were talking about that earlier, and I was just sitting there. Well, hey, it's like getting turnovers at midfield, and you just couldn't do anything.
6 points out of that.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
6 points out of that. You've got to get at least 1 touchdown out of those 2 things, look, special teams was poor again.
Oh,
today,
no question. Yes,
and that's hurt them all year long. So that's got to be addressed.
It's the players' fault, Brad. Like you said, it's mostly the players.
That's a serious problem. But there were times I just kept thinking, you know what? They're going to figure out a way.
Exactly,
because he didn't throw well, but he didn't. He seemed to be getting a little rhythm, and I thought, okay, look at this. They're going to do this on the last drive, and they're going to make these plays.
Right.
And they're going to get the 2-point conversion, and it's going to be fitting, but they're going to have to play more. But so the disappointment of how they lost this game, I think, Ari, goes back to your question about the disappointment of the team for the year. I think it's just kind of emblematic. It's a very disappointing day, and it's been a very disappointing season. And that's why there are going to be a lot of changes.
Yep.
Appreciate your time, Brad. Thank you so much, Brad.
Okay, boys. Hey, happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas.
Yes, you too as well, sir. Happy Hanukkah.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Brad Sham joining us here on the postgame show as the Cowboys lose 17-9. Your reaction at 877-881-1053. We'll get to all that on the way. Dallas Cowboys football.
Man, Brad Sham, I love him, and I hope that you all love him as well, right? I know you guys love him. But this is equivalent of somebody saying that, you know what, Tina Turner, it's not really all the ways Ike's fault. It's because, it was her basically running into the fist of Ike Turner. You know what I mean? It's that. It's not Tina Turner's fault, and it's not Ike's fault. It's actually her running into his fist that causes the bruises, causes the battering, causes her losing her chip in her tooth, causing her hair to be pulled. It's because she ran into his fist. And we're continuing to go through this situation of saying that it's the player's fault. Want to know how I know that this is not the player's fault? Because I got historical data that backs me up, and nobody can outperform or out-debate historical data. It's now 0-4, and win you in or win you out type of situation for Jason Garrett. Oh, were those same players being coached by this team in 2008, in 2010, 2011? Don't you know that the 8 years, all he had to do was win that one game? But I guess it was Tony Romo's fault then. It was DeMarco Murray's fault then, or it was one of the defensive guys' fault then. You see, it's never the coaching. And it crazes me. On a 3rd-and-1 play, you got 3 precious timeouts, right? And they refuse to use that timeout. I called that same type of situation when we played against Chicago Bears, and I think Ezekiel had a big run, got down the field. Could have been the Chicago Bears or the Buffalo Bills. And they said, oh, no, these timeouts are precious. We don't want to utilize these timeouts. They had a formation that trips to the right. Pretty much it was a jumbo formation because they had all 3 tight ends. It's what we call 13 personnel. That's your strong side. But they refused to run towards the strong side, and they did a pitch toss play to Tony Pollard. Keep in mind, Tony Pollard probably was his first series out there. And on top of that, he didn't run towards the strong side of the formation. He ran the ball to the weak side. And matter of fact, if anybody knows a piece of football, don't you know that when you tossing the play backwards, you making more yards for the running back to try to come to get the first down? And all I can say and sit back and think, the Dallas Cowboys got Pro Bowlers on the front 5. They actually got Pro Bowlers, right? Everybody saying, vote for me for the Pro Bowl. Vote for me for the Pro Bowl. And their own team, the Dallas Cowboys, refused to run the ball on 3rd-and-1 or call timeout to bring in Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott, to get more than 1 yard. Don't you know for sure that if the Dallas Cowboys, all they had to do, even if they wanted to sneak it in and with the quarterback, they could have did that, opposed to calling, or at least just call timeout. But they bring in Tony Pollard, and they said, okay, Tony Pollard, here you go. And don't run towards the strong side. Run towards the weak side. What kind of coaching staff do we have? But we don't know football. These guys, Brad Sham is out here saying that these guys going to have to break up their lovely homes. I want you guys to know and understand this. If you pull up the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff, I guarantee you these guys are making more money than doctors. These guys are making more money than lawyers. These guys are making north of 6 figures. Some of them are 7-figure salaries coaching this team. And you mean to tell me that they can't understand if 3rd-and-1 and you got Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott? There's some kid right now that's playing Madden that's no longer or no older than 10 years old that knows how to say, hey, I'm going to run the ball for 1 yard. Or even I'm going to try to sneak this thing in with the quarterback. And I'm going to go for it on 4th-and-1 if he don't get it, you see? Because we got this massive offensive line. We got Ezekiel Elliott, who we paid over $90 million.
Hey, he's not making enough plays. You know, he's been a little bit of a liability, probably on the edge a couple of times there. It looked like to me, just watching from the TV, that there's a chance he could have set the edge and didn't come with enough force to make a play. They needed him to make some plays. He just didn't do it. So, you know, the defense after that first couple, you know, you get the field goal, the touchdown, and then punt, miss field goal into half. They get the punt and then they get the touchdown. But, you know, they needed their offense to do something in this game. They needed their offense to go out there and be balanced, to move the football, to finish drives, to put a lot of pressure on the Eagles. And they weren't able to do that. The Eagles were able to take their scheme, to take the players that they had available to them during this game and cover your best players or affect your quarterback or stop you from running the football. So, you know, we talked about this on the pregame show. The offense was going to have to find a way to help the defense tonight, and they just did not do that.
Amari Cooper, again, in the last 6 games of this season so far, He has 22 receptions for 249 yards and 1 touchdown. It's an average of 4 catches and 41.5 yards per game.
Not good enough.
Are you paying him, Ryan Broadus?
Well, I do agree with Brad Sham and what he's talking about, the type of player. But, in your mind, when you're starting to evaluate, it's a tale of two years. You look at what he was able to do last year and then a little bit coming into this season. But when you've really needed him down the stretch, there is obviously something wrong with him. And I know some people out on Twitter right now are having discussions with me about, he's hurt. Why are you being hard on him and all that? No, I'm being hard on all these. All the receivers had their moments. The offensive line had their moments. The running back, the quarterback, all these guys had moments. But yeah, if you're going to tell me this is a $20 million a year player, I need you to do things to affect the game that way. And we see what a guy like, again, we watched the early games today with Michael Thomas and how he was able to get open against Tennessee and make plays. If you're going to be that kind of player or be compensated to be that type of player, you need to be a difference maker. And he hasn't been a difference maker the last 6 weeks.
877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. Let's talk to Christy. He's calling in from Dallas. Go ahead, Christy. You're on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
I think that's
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. I'm kind of back where I was, I think, the last time I talked to you guys. And I make the point of when games are tight like this,
sure,
your coaching staff should be able to give you some type of an advantage.
Yes.
This just makes this stick out like a sore thumb for me.
Yes.
Because when you need an advantage, this staff just can't do it. I watched the New Orleans Saints game, and I watched Sean Payton. I watched him talking and in people's face and seeming like he was giving information, and our guy sits there stoic on the sidelines looking like he's bewildered.
Sure.
And everybody has that deer in the headlight look. And the other thing here for me is that I think these guys are they're getting accustomed to this losing mentality. They start with the excuses, and Dak is getting really bad at it. He gets to the podium, he goes through this speech. You don't need to watch the tape, Dak. You stuck up the joint. Nobody needs to watch the tape.
Sure.
Right.
You got these pat answers ready for us, very robotic. None of these guys are telling the truth about where they really are. And if nobody's going to have a moment of truth about where this team really is, then nothing about it is going to change.
Can I ask you a question, please?
You're 500.
Can I ask you a question?
You're less than 500.
Question? Is it okay? Question? Can you tell me, what did you feel like last week at this time?
Same.
How did you feel about this team last week?
I didn't really feel that different because here's the thing, Brian. This is not consistent.
Okay, no, I'm just asking.
It almost stuck out like an anomaly.
Yeah, sure. I'm just asking.
Christy got
if you saw some of the things, and you did a great job of describing all the issues, but we saw some of the things you were talking about last week. That they failed at this week, but they were able to do pretty well last week. See, I'm with you on the coaching staff and being difference makers and all that. I'm with you on that. I don't know about this team. I don't know. 1 week they do things the right way. They tackle. They play good run defense. They run the football. They get pass protection. They make plays. But I don't know. I'm
when they go in with the right plan.
Yeah, and to me, that's why I felt like they had a chance in this game, because I did see some things. But you're right. Christy's right. There is this massive inconsistency with this team. And I think that is an issue here. And that's why they are what they are. And I think she's right. I was curious how she felt, because I felt like we all, and I keep going back to the fool's gold thing. It was a great question. Rough. And at the time I'm like, no, Ari, it's not fool's gold. This is what this team is capable of playing like. And you feel like that they could go to Philadelphia with really an undermanned team and go find a way to get a win when it's really important.
And that's the most frustrating thing, is to watch this team consistently lose to other teams that are making up for areas where they don't have great players. We've talked about it all. It's been a common theme and thread all year for this team.
Absolutely, it has.
And the other thing, too, is, and this is to Christy's point, it's the aesthetics of how you appear and what you say in a post-game press conference at the post-game podium. Look, there's more than one way to skin a cat. We've seen head coaches.
He's got to stand up there and take the bullets, though. Pardon, that's probably a bad expression. But he's got to stand up there and take all those questions, Prescott. And you build a defense mechanism like, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, because he's just he doesn't.
Right.
He's trust me, he's going to get on that plane and he's going to sit there and he's going to watch that pad and he's going to see, damn it, I missed that throw. Damn, I missed that throw. Damn, I missed that throw. You know?
I think sometimes we just want people to hold themselves accountable in a way that we probably haven't heard from Jason Garrett or from Dak Prescott. And there's a frustration level in the way that they present themselves.
It's going to cost
Jason Garrett
his job. It's going to cost the head coach. The inconsistency that Christie's talking about is going to cost Jason Garrett his job.
Let's talk with Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Mickey joining us here on the post-game show as the Cowboys lose to the Eagles 17-9.
Let's see what Mickey going to say.
Mickey, I mean, we talked with Brad about this. You know, certainly you only give up 17 points. You expect to be able to win games. The offense for this year for the Cowboys, what went wrong offensively?
Well, I think the Philadelphia Eagles obviously made a bet. They played Ezekiel Elliott 5 times,
sure.
And the Cowboys have won all 5 games, and the fewest yards he's ever gained is 96 yards. And they made this bet. They said there is no way Ezekiel Elliott's going to beat us. They jammed the line of scrimmage. They had 8 guys in the box, 9 guys in the box, 7 guys in. I don't care how many guys the Cowboys had out at wide receiver. They were jamming the box to make sure Ezekiel Elliott didn't beat them. So the bet was, we're going to stop Ezekiel Elliott. We don't think you can pass the ball well enough with a quarterback that had a bum shoulder and didn't practice all week to beat us. And they made that gamble. The Cowboys had their opportunities to beat them on some one-on-one plays. Dak missed some throws. They dropped 6 passes in the game. And there you are with 9 points and didn't score a touchdown. You know, we were sitting there and it was 10-6, and I turned to the guys next to me and I said, next touchdown wins this game. And the Eagles drove right down the field and scored that touchdown. So I think Dak was able to throw the ball. I'm not sure the shoulder affected him, but I think what affected him is not practicing all week. His rhythm was off. I don't think he was seeing the field very well, kind of locking on the receivers on the outside when basically what the Eagles wanted you to do is throw the ball underneath. They're playing single safety high the entire game, game.
Yeah.
And they just didn't make the effective, efficient plays in the passing game to get the Eagles out of that type of defense, and they were able to score 17 points. Now, Brian, we talked about this in the pregame show.
Sure.
You asked me what was I more worried about, stopping their screens to the running backs or stopping the tight ends, and I told you both. Right. And both is what enabled them to get those 17 points. They completed 23 passes for 203 yards to running backs and tight ends.
Right.
And one of the guys that had to miss half the game, Ernst, and all of a sudden Goddard shows up, leading receiver. They don't have their top 3 wide receivers in there. They played 2 tight ends basically the entire game, and the Cowboys never came up with a solution to how to cover those tight ends. They tried zone, they tried man-to-man, and nothing worked.
Too light body,
Mickey, and you were absolutely right about that because I felt like in this game it was either going to
Woods versus that Dallas Goddard. People said Dallas didn't score. Dallas did score. Dallas Goddard scored.
Just on it, Mickey, could you tell? You said the zone, but could you tell? Was it Jeff Heath one time, Byron Jones another time? I mean, did they just not have like you said, a good enough answer from what you could see in the press box?
Yeah, I agree with you. They did mix it up. They had some man. You saw the man with Heath on the big pass play there.
Sure.
When they moved the ball down the field towards the end of the game. Got a little push off, but hey, this is the NFL, right? You're going to get that. And they tried zoning them, and the one time, if you remember, I'm pretty sure they were in a zone, and Jordan Lewis fouled the wide receiver
inside,
the field.
Yeah.
And you can't expect Malcolm Smith to carry Ward down the field on that wheel route, right?
Yeah.
And the way he settled in underneath, he was expecting a safety or a corner to switch off over the top, and it wasn't there. So I just think that they, whatever coverages they mixed up, the Eagles were always one step in front of them, and people want to say this and that about Carson Wentz. He was absolutely fantastic. 31 of 40 for 319 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't miss many throws. And he was right on. He was very patient with what he wanted to do, and they were getting the ball out so fast it was hard to get pressure on him with those short routes to the tight ends, and the Cowboys just didn't do a good enough job. But you know what? Is that surprising? In these last, 6 or 7 games, that's how teams have beaten them, with underneath passes to
tight ends and wide receivers, and running backs, they haven't been able to do a good enough job. They picked on the linebackers quite a bit underneath in coverage, and they just weren't good enough in the open field to bring down Sanders. He's awfully good, and I can't believe that guy was a backup running back.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Appreciate your time, Mickey. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Okay, see ya.
Mickey Spagnola joining us. Cowboys lose 17-9. Trying to find tickets to football games or any of their live event can be complicated.
Shout out to everybody, man. I really appreciate the mods, man, for regulating everything. We're going to let the mods, man, let the Eagles fans, gloat a little bit. Yeah, they can talk. As long as it's nothing personal, y'all can go ahead and say Cowgirls today, and you guys can say Fly Eagles Fly. Y'all can feel free to talk y'all noise, because I'm quite sure, if it's the opposite way around, I'll be talking all type of noise. So make it fair and balanced. Mods, just relax a little bit on the Eagles fans that's in this thing. But long as y'all don't take it personal, so no personal attacks, Eagles feel free to gloat a little bit. But here's the thing. The reality of it is that the Walmart All-Stars, that's what I call them, because that's where they was probably working at before they signed up for the Eagles to play those wide receivers role. They didn't need to use them. Now, I'm hearing so many times people keep saying, oh, they don't have wide receivers. No, the play of the game is the tight end, especially when you got the running back that can catch those little dump-off passes and get upfield. And we was not prepared for that. And on the one play that number 84 was able to catch, that little wheel route, of course, blown assignment, number 43. I really think that we didn't have an answer at all by LVE being out, because remember, he was the guy that would take care of the interior of the field. He was the guy that took care of the interior of the field as it relates to the linebacker play versus the tight end play. We had a guy that we just picked up from the streets, Malcolm Smith, whatever his name is. Shout out to him, though. He played as much as he could, the best way he could. But at the end of the day, Cowboy Nation, this total L is on poor quality of those downs and outs as it relates to 3rd and 1. Dak Prescott, we know for sure that he wasn't passing his best balls this year, at this game. And we saw that. We saw the regressions as it relates to Amari Cooper. I don't know what he's dealing with, but that foot injury, I had one of my guys, Jerry Reese, he normally be on the show. He was talking about the simple fact that he had the exact same injury that occurred while he was in the military, and he still have issues with that foot. So, and the only way that they can get that foot to heal correctly is rest. Now, I do know that he probably don't have the doctors that the Cowboys have, but the reality of it, Cowboy Nation, the reality of it is that the kid been playing injured this entire year. No push, no get off. Yes, he can still get separation, but he's not confident. The thing is with Amari Cooper, in order to get that kid confident, you got to start this thing off early. That's what they call throwing the ball and getting into a rhythm. And the Dallas Cowboys don't know how to do that. They don't know how to throw those little dump off. Look, here's the thing with Cowboys. We cry and complain about defend Dak Prescott. Oh, he don't dink and dunk. Dak can throw the ball down the field. It's not about that. It's about that at certain times. You got to throw the underneath passes to get the quarterback in rhythm, to get the quarterback in motion and thriving for the game. You see? Neither here nor there. If you want a new quarterback, then I would say this. You franchise Dak Prescott now, because I'm all team Dak Prescott, but if you want a new quarterback, for those who out there looking at everything, you franchise Dak Prescott now, and every year you draft a quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that. Dallas Cowboys did it in the 90s. We had some good backup quarterbacks, Steve Berline, Steve Wash, and beyond. Rodney Pete, we can go on and on, all of the backup quarterbacks that we had. Then you can go back to the Patriots. They drafted guys. We can go talk about the Green Bay Packers. When they went and got Aaron Rodgers, he was a first-round draft grade, right? Dropped, and they said, oh, wow, well, let's just pick him up. But you got Brett Favre. No, let's just pick him up. So you can do that if you want to. But there'll still be a thing called growing pains. And if you can't look in the mirror and say, well, this team is okay, when you got Jason Garrett still clapping.
Season tickets.
You still got Jason Garrett still clapping at the bottom of the screen right here. That's the reality. Cowboys drafted Rodney Pete. I don't know if they drafted him, but he was on the Cowboys roster. You know, if you don't believe me, look it up. And I may be a whole lot, you know, it might be older than most of you guys in here, but that's just how it was back in the days, you know. You always had to strongly have your backups there to be ready to step into the gap. And you always had to put a little fire under your starting quarterback. Black, like history says, tired of losing. We all. We tired of losing. And I'm tired of hearing the excuses. Like I said before in my previous streams, and I had a lot of people come at me and being mad about it. But I told a lot of people, if Jerry Jones really want to win, there's no salary cap as it relates to coaching. There's none. No salary cap at all. And if you think about it, that $3.2 billion stadium that he built and that $3.5 billion workout facility, he didn't pick average constructors or construction site people to build those things. He went and got the best. That's what I'm saying with the Cowboys. They should get the best.
Yeah, wasn't my shoulder, wasn't anything I was feeling. Felt great. I'm good. Yeah, trust me, I'm not crying yet.
That is Dak Prescott after the Cowboys lose 17-9 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles now in the driver's seat for the NFC East Division Championship. Eagles try to make it 3 straight years to the playoffs. Of course, they won the Super Bowl in 17.
Yeah, let them bang out that background music.
And now they're back at the playoffs yet again, looks like, for the 3rd consecutive season. Dak Prescott, by the way, this is certainly one of the major subplots to the end of the season. We were talking going into that New England game about MVP potential for Dak Prescott. And down the stretch of this season, he was just bad. Statistically speaking, he padded his stats against the Bills and Bears to make him reasonable. Even in the Rams win, he was 15 of 23 for 212 and 2 touchdowns.
But he's banged up, right? Hurt? Maybe going to take that in there?
Troy Aikman said last week during the Rams game that he has a broken finger he's been playing through. Hairline fracture in his finger.
No, I'm just saying.
He has the AC joint sprain. The idea here, Broadus, is if you're healthy enough to play, then you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
You don't, because their policy, and you know, trust me, I've lived this. Their policy is not to put hurt guys out on the field. They're not going to, you know, if they feel like that Dak Prescott couldn't give them the best chance to win, and he just missed throws today, and his receivers dropped the ball, and they didn't block well enough, and everybody's talking about, you know, the loaded boxes and stuff. Okay, if they're playing loaded box, how about winning on the outside? You know, how about finding a way? You know, Amari Cooper's talking about that. It felt like they had some routes, could have got open, and they didn't get open. They missed some throws. That one was on the offense tonight. Big time on the offense.
We are hearing word that next week's game, which was originally scheduled for a noon kick, will now kick at 3:25, so that Fox is flexing the Cowboys and Redskins next week for 3:25, which means we'll get Troy Aikman, Joe Buck.
Like the 7th straight week?
Aaron Andrews again.
No, I know. They're good people.
They're great.
They're absolutely great.
And the Cowboys will know their fate before they kick because the Eagles and Giants play at noon.
Right.
So hearing word, it's not official, but hearing word that game next week for the Cowboys and Skins will be flexed from 12 to 3:25. And then by the time they kick, Cowboys will know if they win and they get in, or if the game doesn't matter because the Eagles have already won and therefore clinched. The post-game show brought to you by Susan G. Komen. Learn how the Dallas Cowboys and Susan G. Komen are fighting to end breast cancer. Visit Komen.org/IPromise. There was a stretch in this game where Troy Aikman openly questioned DeMarcus Lawrence. Here's what it sounded like, and right on cue, DeMarcus Lawrence made a play. Here's Troy Aikman during the Fox broadcast.
You know, here they are at 3rd and 8 yards, and DeMarcus Lawrence back in the lineup. He's a guy, we've had a few of their games in recent weeks. We haven't called his name much. Highest paid guy in franchise history. These are the games. They need him to make some big plays.
Extra men on the rush. Wentz gets hit as he let it go, and right on cue, DeMarcus Lawrence got through and made that hit on Wentz.
Yeah, Lawrence got through and forced a missed throw by Carson Wentz.
Hit his elbow, as he throwing,
Right on cue. Here was DeMarcus Lawrence after catching up with the media after the Cowboys lose 17-9.
It's very disappointing. I mean, knowing that you lay all your chips out there, all your energy, everything that you have, and still come out short is very disappointing.
What's the problem with the pass rush? I mean, you got some pressure, but you didn't bring him down.
Did y'all count how fast the ball was getting out of his hand? All right, then that's the problem.
Seems that you've been on a little bit of a drought the last couple of weeks. Has that been the case with quarterbacks with you?
I mean, if you watch the film, bro, you'll see it. So, I guess the chip game, the quick game, all those, and the screen game play an aspect of, getting to the quarterback. I mean, it's hard to get to the quarterback when you have to, defend, all those things. And, I mean, it's really, no excuse why we didn't get the job done today, but we did.
Here's DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, they had 4 sacks in the last time they played him. Able to affect. He did affect the ball. Robert Quinn got a late sack, fumble. They just didn't get on that one. The ball fell right on top of Carson Wentz. But yeah, he's not wrong about the chips and things, and the ball getting out. But they're.
Man, here's my response to it. And shout out to Brian Broaders in this show. Look, everybody have reasons, but results are what matter. Results are everything. And when you look at it, D-Law, he got his paper, he got his bag, and that's the part of the game. You don't think they don't double team Michael Jordan? You think that they don't double team Kobe Bryant? You don't think they don't double team Shaq? You don't think that Reggie White, when he was playing football, shout out to the Eagles, I'm going to mention one of your greats. You don't think that Reggie White wasn't getting double teamed when he was out there sacking quarterbacks? Come on, Cowboy Nation. Come on.
They didn't take advantage of their personnel being out, the other team's personnel being out. The Jets' loss was bad, but you could go all the way back. Think about the New Orleans game. Think about the 2 opportunities. This one doesn't have to do with personnel being out, but think about the Minnesota game. Inside the 10 twice, and you only score 3 points in that game. There's just plenty of times. New England, the weather was bad in that game. They lost the game because they lost 2 of the 3 phases. They lost on defense and they lost on the special teams. But, that was a game if they could have, maybe if Dak Prescott and Ezekiel had run the ball 10, 12 more times, maybe they score more points in that game. I just feel like that they've blown some opportunities to take advantage of teams, and they've been unfortunate that way.
Jane Slater tweets that in a Cowboy source told her that they wanted to give Tavon Austin a shot at the defensive backs because the Eagles are having a hard time with smaller, quick guys.
Yeah.
They got in hurry-up mode, so they had to wait to put Cooper back in, quote, rotation change, not a benching, end quote. That's again from Jane Slater. So, again, we're talking in circles about a rotation for receivers. I mean, it's not just any given play in just a game. It's just not it's a 4th down play with your season on the line. This is not just like, well, we got caught in a rotation in a hurry-up.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Again, just the people inside the Star that are coming up with these answers and trying to sort of justify what is egregious and inexcusable. Like, that's just in a season of miscues and mistakes. This just seems to be the perfect characterization or example of those mistakes.
Oh, there's no question. The rotation should mean, hey, let's get the best guys on the field no matter what. And I don't care if guys are a little tired or a little this or a little that.
Right.
Find a way to get that done. Maury Cooper against Rasul Douglas is a good win. That's a good win. You've got to do things better. You got to find ways to create. Other teams around the league find ways to get their best players on your worst players and take advantage of that. This team has no ability to do that right now. None.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear. Like, you think about the greatest playmakers.
Go down swinging with your best guys on the field.
Right. And just don't give me excuses.
No, don't.
Well, it was a rotation thing. We were going fast. Right. It just sounds so horrible to try to explain it away.
His job is to run, and his job is to catch. Right. And that's all the wide receivers. That's their job. They get in games. They've been in games this year where they've been down, 17, 21 points and throwing every snap, and having to run and continue to run. So don't give me the rotational stuff at all. That doesn't make sense to me. Give me the best players. I would rather go down with Amari Cooper being on the field in that situation than Tavon Austin. I'm sorry.
Right. The Cowboys, Redskins reportedly getting flexed. So are the Giants and Eagles.
No, there
so
you
we
go.
will not know the fate of the Cowboys by the time they kick it off next week. It looks like both teams will be playing next week at 3:25 to decide the NFC East, but you could probably say it's already been decided. Cowboys lose 17-9 in Philadelphia, and Brian Broaddus and Ari Temkin, we are left to pick up the pieces. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Yes, indeed. While they go to commercial break, so they're going to flex the game. So I guess they're going to play the game at the same time so that ratings will be up and these sorts of things. So we can get down to the last moment. And it would be crazy, if the Eagles lose next week to the Giants or what have you. And then all of a sudden we have to play this game, whereas we have a pivotal moment against the Washington team. Here's the thing, though. You don't need wide receivers to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to say this again. As long as the tight end can play and you can run the rock, and then on top of that, if the quarterback can run just a little bit, now – we are able to see that this Dallas Cowboys team against pocket quarterbacks, we play a good job against them. We do. And Jerry Goff, he's not the fastest runner of the ball, right? And Carson, he created space. He didn't do a lot of running, but he was able to create space within the pocket to free himself up like a Houdini almost to keep the play alive. And this is what it is. Linda says practice squad. Yeah, but if you look at the game, the wide receivers didn't win the game for the Eagles. It goes back to the actual tight end play. They were the ones that was able to win the game. Now, of course, number 84 did catch a good pass off the side of a wheel route, and that's more so of a mismanaged play by the defense. Neither here nor there. Cowboys, it goes back to coaching. You have Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott, in multiple situations and phases of the game. They hold on to those timeouts. And then you had Jason Witten looking like Father Time himself out there. I know some people that's in high school and middle school can probably run faster than Jason Witten. It looks like it's painful to watch him run routes and these sorts of things. And what people would do collectively, they will look back and they would say, well, he did catch the ball last week against the Rams or what have you. He was able to get the touchdown then. Okay. You praise him for that moment, but you don't look at the other moments that he hurt this team. We needed people like the Jarwins of the world who can go up the field vertically, who, although the Eagles were giving you the middle of the field, who's somebody that can actually capitalize from it. That's the reality of it. That is the reality of it, Cowboy Nation. Let me see. Let me read a couple of your highlights here. Mark Scott, what's good with you, man? Yeah, the wide receiver caught just enough passes from Wentz. Yes, I agree on that. Looney's says, what's 8-8, maybe 7-9. Laugh out loud for Garrett. Yeah, that's the Jason Garrett formula. Shout out to those that's on my Facebook panel. Vincent, Jermaine, really appreciate you. Donald, thank you for tuning in. Sharita, really appreciate you as well for tuning in. Cowboy Nation, we holding the L. This is exactly what we're doing. We holding the L. Plan and it's going to be crazy. I'm going to take some calls. Let's see how long I've been live. I'm going to take some calls at the top of the hour. And you guys can still text me right now. And I'm going to send this to you. I'm going to send this to everybody. That's the number, so keep that number. The text line is still open. But we're going to take the calls as soon as we hear some more of this 105.3 The Fans. We'll take some calls. How about that?
69.
At the top of, not the top of the next hour, but at the top of the time frame. I've been going live for, an hour? So I normally do a 2-hour show. We'll take some calls on the back end. How about that?
One hot.
Let me see what else we have here. NFC East is still sucks. This Jermaine. Yeah, I mean, we can look at this game and we'll say to ourselves, even when we get to the dance, I don't know about you all, but the road is still rugged. And although we can look at teams like the 49ers and say they are beatable, we can look at the Saints and say they are beatable. We can say that, but those teams are humming. They are. Yeah, they are. They are humming, and that's just the reality of it. Floyd Day, what's good, man? So we hold the L, but we still bleed blue. Yes. We holding the L, but we still bleed silver and blue. Not just blue, we bleed the silver too.
Not to play big.
Yes, indeed. Thanks to everybody for the Christmas gift. This is from the Eagles fan. Shout out to you, though. The Eagles are proud and happy for this moment right now. APJ, Lady Brunson, why you block the Cowboys fans when when we troll you. Oh wow, y'all calling people names. Shout out to Lord Brunson for I guess he's he's one of those Eagles guys, right? Content creators, right? Shout out to Lord Brunson.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, indeed. They still on a long commercial break. They got to get their thoughts together, right? Fly, Eagles, fly. Boy, my page is going to be nothing but Fly, Eagles, fly. But y'all better keep that energy next week. Y'all better beat those Giants. Yes, indeed.
26 seconds.
Y'all better. Fire Coach Garrett, yeah. L. Drip, yeah, they better fire him. If we don't, boy, this should be the end of the road for him.
Too late?
Yeah.
Kai Forbath, 3 for 3 here, was 3 for 3 last week, 6 for 6 to start his Cowboys career.
Not bad.
100%.
Yeah.
According to my math.
Something's wrong with Chris Jones, by the way.
Yeah,
Chris Jones, the punter. Something's bad about that situation right now. I was hearing some things about back, potentially, things like that. We'll need to see. But yeah, he's clearly not the same guy.
Let's hear what Jerry Jones had to say after this bloodletting. Cowboys lose 17-9. Here's Jerry with the media afterwards.
Now, Jerry?
We had good week's practice. We thought we could come up here and play a better game than we played. And thought right up until the very end of the thing that we could come in and make some plays and get it done. It is a very meaningful game because of the circumstances within the league. And we've had times this year a lot when we didn't play as well as we wanted to play, but we had in mind stepping back up here and getting on a run and having some good things happen. This is a disappointing setback for that locker room and for all of us, and I know it is for the fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of nothing. It's kind of been a consistent theme with him. If you want to talk about consistency, it's happy, disappointed, happy, disappointed. It's been back and forth with him. And that's a general manager. He needs to look at himself in the face and say, okay, did I do everything I could to make sure this team had everything they needed? Here's the hard question, Broadus. Let's look ahead to the future of a new coach.
He's going to have to get a new coach, yeah.
What's the likelihood that Jerry allows that coach to hire his assistant coaches, his coordinators? What's the likelihood that Jerry will give that coach the autonomy and authority?
Yeah. We need to see how involved
to make a difference.
We need to see how involved Stephen Jones is in this hire. This might be, and I'm not saying this is a passing of the baton, but this might be one of those things like, Stephen, since you're taking more of a day-to-day operation of the team.
And we've seen that.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen Stephen take considerably more responsibility.
Absolutely. Stephen's taken a lot more responsibility for the team, and, he's on competition committees and stuff like that.
So does that make you more optimistic that they can find the right kind of coach?
I think Stephen Jones would hire the right kind of coach. I absolutely believe that. And, again, Jerry Jones is a guy that, he's going to be involved, but it might be one of those things where when you're talking about day-to-day operations of the team, maybe this is Jerry Jones's way of saying, okay, Stephen, I'm going to lean on you for this. And, we've heard some rumors and speculation that, Jerry said, Steve will say, well, no, we haven't talked to anybody, and then Jerry talks about a coach, but then we're hearing some back channeling stuff. He's talked to this guy, met with this guy, and people are having to deny all that stuff. Stephen Jones operates very well in that kind of a setting.
What phone calls are you making, Brian?
To me, the net is very wide. And depending on how you want to play this, you have to think about, okay, is the quarterback, obviously I don't think they get a deal done with Dak. I could be way wrong about that. I think this is a franchise tag situation we're looking at right now.
I think you're right.
And then
it's hard to disagree
now you have to think about Amari Cooper and what's going on there. Has Michael Gallup done enough, or were you going to go out and draft a wide receiver and just let Amari Cooper walk for that kind of money? Which there's some people that, like Brad Sham said, I personally wouldn't do it. But, yeah, you're talking about wide receivers is a huge part of what they do. But there has to be a little pause about what's going on, that the fact that you can't go out and whether I don't believe he's hurt, because people that I really, really trust are telling me he's not hurt.
Do you think that this validates rumors we heard about him from Oakland when he came over?
I think he's been a really good guy. I don't think that's been a problem. I just feel like, though, that there's, to me, you look at when things are not going well, does he sulk? Does he pout? I don't know. I mean, to me, I felt like that in this game, he should have found a way to make some more plays. He's played against these Eagles corners before and had great success. And, this time around, though, whether the quarterback was bad or he was bad, now he even said it himself in the post game. He goes, I've got to play better, So that's where I think I'm at right now with that.
Mike Fisher tweets at Fish Sports Alert, putting a crappy capper on the Cowboys night in Philly. The team's charter plane has been deemed, quote, not viable for the flight home to DFW. Team officials are working to find another plane for real. The plane, not viable for flying home.
Yeah.
The team, not viable for the NFC East.
No, and they're going to have to sit on these buses and wait, while they get things situated there. And, American Airlines, and to be honest with you, I've been on those charters a bunch of my life. To find the type of plane that they need to fly out of there, with the personnel, the staff, the coaches, everybody, the sponsors and stuff, they're going to have to scramble an airport. At least they're not like in Green Bay or someplace like that, a remote type of an airport. But maybe at the Philadelphia airport they can wheel one out and get them on the way home.
If you best case scenario, Broadus,
yeah,
within reason, right? No Bill Belichick, right? But who's best case scenario for the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys, in your opinion?
I think the best case scenario is a guy that,
probably.
As I've talked all along, all right, I need a guy that has accountability. I need a guy that can be a difference maker. I need a guy that when the game is on the line, that he's figuring out a way to block a punt, or he's figuring out a way to get his defense in position to win a game, or he reads that his team needs a little bit of a jump start and he needs to go for it on 4th and 1 right here and not 4th and 9. You know what I'm saying? I need a guy I'm not talking about a gambler, I'm just talking about a guy that's a better game manager. I need a guy that finds a way to make sure that the coaches on the staff are accountable for how the game is called offensively and what they're doing defensively. That there's no loose ends. With Coach Jason Garrett, there seems to be way too many loose ends in these games.
Postgame show brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car.
Shout out to Geico, man, and shout out to State Farm as well. Hey, here's the thing is, Cowboy Nation, we need a coach. and trust me, I do know that people are going to say, well, the coach is not out there tackling, the coach is not out there dropping passes, and the coach is not out there throwing the ball. We need a coach, man. Stop trying to push sugar on this thing and thinking that it's going to taste sweet. It's still shit, and you can't just put it on there and say, just eat some of it. It's going to taste good eventually. No, we just need a new coach. And I love Jason Garrett. I think about this. I think that Jason Garrett probably be a good personnel guy as it relates to general managership. I think that he probably can be one hell of a scout. His father scouted, meaning that, maybe he know how to scout players, Maybe he is a great positioning coach. But as a head coach, we just not going to get the flavor that we want. We're not going to squeeze the talent out of these players and let them mark up a level. But all I've seen from these Dallas Cowboys is that they either go to a certain ceiling and they stay at that level, or you may have that one phenomenal situation like a Tony Romo who can just use his brilliancy to propel this team beyond the coaching. But here's the thing. Not everybody's lying on you. Patrick Creighton had something to say with Jason Garrett. We had DeMarco Murray had something to say. DeMarcus Ware had something to say. Terrell Owens. Not all of these guys are lying. Somebody's telling the truth, right? Somebody's telling the truth.
It's so obviously exemplified in the mentality of this team after they lose, with trying to explain the 4th and 8 situation with Cooper, where it's just like too often he's like lost in the shuffle of, well, there's so many things going on, and
it shouldn't be that
rotation.
way. It should be that way for him,
right?
He should
be assertive.
He should be screaming on the headset. Why isn't Amari out there? Why isn't Gallup out there? Why isn't Blake Jarwin out there? I mean,
and then taking a timeout.
Yeah,
emphatically calling a timeout because he's mad,
and then turn around and look at Kellen Moore or look at Sanjay Lyle and say, "What the f are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? Don't cost me an opportunity to potentially tie this game or win this game because I don't have the right personnel on the field." See, that's the problem I have. And I understand everybody out there, and the callers talk about, well, it's par for the course. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But to me, whoever the next guy is, he needs to be a leader on that field game day. He needs to be the one making everyone around him accountable for what's going on that field.
It's Brian Broaddus. I'm Ari Temkin. This is the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. They lose 17-9 to Philadelphia, fall to 7-8 on the season. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Yes, indeed.
You are loyal.
Yes, indeed, Cowboy Nation. So, with that being said, we're going to open up some of the phone lines and try to get that going. And from there, we're going to get on out of here so that I can be with family, if that's okay with you all, right? He said fatigue. All right, so we're going to keep the phone lines open and just try to call in and I guess, no more than 3 minutes or so. And the phone number is at the top of the screen, 682-214-4087. That's the number for the nation, baby. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you have a coach in mind, if you have your thoughts on this game, let that be heard. And let's see what this is all about, Cowboy Nation. 682-214-4087 is the number. Yes, indeed. So when we talk about this team and when we talk about what our goals are for the start of the year, everybody had high hopes. Everybody had high expectations. But this is what happened. All right, from the 214, you're live. You're live. Call back 214 when you get a chance. 682-214-4087 is the number. Poor effort, lost faith in this team. This is from All Too Easy. Hey, we got to figure out ways. Dez is blowing up right now. What did he said he want to have a comeback year. Yeah, this is from Andrea. Yeah, I mean, Dez have every right to be mad and upset. But, yeah, even Dez had something to say about this staff. Jeff Todd said just clean house. They clean up everything. But and Natasha says, but saying he was fatigued to cover up, yeah. I mean, we don't want to hear those words, right? When you say a player is fatigued, that's what you use timeouts for. That's what you use the war of attrition. That's why you have everybody to be able to understand that. That's why you play this game, not to get tired. You're supposed to be in top shape right now. That's why Jerry Rice ran the hills. That's why nobody could stop Mike Irvin outside of something else. But Mike Irvin always ran, and he always was saying to himself, only way you beat me if you out-practice me. All right. 248, you're live.
Hello?
What's going on, man? Talk to me.
I've seen a lot in the comments that everyone wants Jim Harbaugh, but I don't think Jim Harbaugh's the guy. I'm going to go with a guy from LSU.
LSU coach?
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
I mean, you look what he did with his quarterback. He made him a Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really look at Barrow, he wasn't really that good until coming into his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just like an average quarterback, and he elevated his play, and they got the run game going down there, and it looks pretty solid. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I haven't really dived into that coach Joe Brady as much as I should right now. It would take me forever to figure out what his overall scheme is. Can he, I guess, push and make this team be the team that they should be as it relates to the defensive side of the ball as well? Will he have full command of this team, of standing up to Jerry Jones and his nonsense? There's so many moving parts with that. And then on top of that, what have he done right so far? Even though the guy's having a great year, is it multiple years that this guy's winning on, or what has he done? What is his full resume? I don't know it.
I believe he was a receiver coach, and then he got offensive coordinator. I believe that's what he was. And then, because I know he's like the number one offensive coordinator right now in college. Like,
okay,
he's going to be the head coach in college football. Like, there's a lot of teams that want him right now in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's going to be maybe go to the NFL or not. I don't know about that. I haven't really looked into it either myself, but I know he is a hot topic right now in the college world. And I was just wondering, maybe it could be offense coordinator for Dallas next year.
Well, we will have to find out, man. Any other thoughts you'd like to get out to the nation before I let you go?
No.
Well, I really
just pray and
you,
hope
man.
that the Eagles lose and we win next week.
Yeah, putting the faith in somebody else, right? We're gonna have to
it's
control
tough.
our own
Yeah,
destination.
they're
man.
down there. They're down there in New Orleans celebrating like they won 5 Super Bowls.
Wow.
And we're sitting over here. Well, I'm in Detroit, but we're sitting over here like, damn. And we have all this damn talent. But, Law, do you really think we have that much talent now that I've been watching these games?
Here's the thing. Coaches elevate talent, you know. At the end of the day, we can talk about talents, but it's all about scheme. And you should be able to scheme a few wins. And when you're not able to do that, you got some people with some speed, you got some people with some burst. I think that the team on the 3rd and 1, we had enough talent to get the first down, but we had the wrong scheme. You see, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yep. Thank you, Lau.
Salute.
Have a
Oh, my bad. I cut him off too quick, man. Merry Christmas to you as well, or happy holidays and all of those things. Although it may not be how we want it to be, but it is what it is. 469, what's on your mind?
What's up with it, Law, man? It's your boy Eastwood coming at you live from East Dallas, man. State Fair, Texas, man.
Yes, indeed. What's good with it, man? I know it's bitter right now, but the sweet part about it is that if we are to lose out, at least we get better draft picks, right?
Yeah, but still, man, losing to the Eagles is gut wrenching, man. It's straight embarrassing.
It is.
I mean, it was an embarrassment out there, man. You know, I talked smack all week, thinking my team was gonna, perform the way we did against the Rams. Thinking this team woke up from the slumber. I'm thinking I'm feeling good, and then the performance today.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm done, man. I'm done because I'm one of those fans that I'm at the games. I buy the merchandise. I support my squad. I'm from Dallas, Texas, born in Dallas, Texas, raised in Dallas, Texas, still live in Dallas, Texas.
That's what's it.
Got my 3-month-old baby boy in Cowboys gear. I live and die for this team. But just the performance, no heart. No heart out there, man. Philly wanted it more. We lost to a practice squad.
Yeah, and they
we lost to a practice squad.
And they didn't lose. They didn't use excuses as their vitamin. They didn't look at it that way. They said, okay, we've been in this situation before. We're going to scrap it up, and we're going to play to our strengths. What are the Eagles' strengths? Oh, the tight ends. Oh, what are the Eagles' strengths? Oh, not causing the quarterback to throw the ball deep down the field and let him utilize the running backs and utilize the Boston Scotts of the world and let this game just come to him slowly and get into a rhythm. And that's what I was able to see. And the Cowboys played right into the teeth of the defense, meaning that they didn't capitalize on the Eagles' weakness. They ran right at the teeth of the defense, which is their strength. So if you look at the game collectively, one can say that football is not checkers at all. This is chess.
Oh, no.
And
yes, sir.
and it boils down and it comes down to coaching. Because at the same time, you can look at this exact same team, and if you flip the coaching around, the coaching will be able to identify the struggles with the tight end play, and they say, you know what, Jason Witten, we love you, but you're going to have to hit this bench. Okay? With the situation, Dak Prescott, your shoulder is right now is not going in the way we want it to go. We're going to get you in rhythm. We're going to force you to pass these little dump off passes to get you in rhythm, and that we can utilize this game. Shallow passes, but this coaching don't think like that. They don't use analytics for crying out loud.
Oh, no, man. I mean, that's my boy, but he was looking like Matt Castle out there, man. He was looking like Matt Castle out there.
Yeah. Or Brandon Weed.
But we can't give a judgment call on that because I would like to see him with a good head coach out there, with somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows what they're calling. Mm-hmm. But he does have to make them throws, man. Those throws, coming in the back, and receivers got to, kind of twist their body, control their body to make those catches. That's kind of on Dak, man. But I do understand there was some drops, and the receivers, it wasn't their day out there. Maybe the CBs got in their head. Or, we just got to do a better job at making those catches, making those throws. Just basically fundamental football, man. It comes down to fundamental football.
Most certainly, man. Any other thing you want to give out to the nation, man, right now?
Man, just to all the Cowboy Nation out there like me, man, that support the squad no matter what, out there at the games, keep your head up, man, because it's going to be brighter days, man. It has to be. I mean, it has to be.
Yes, indeed, fam. Really appreciate you for calling in.
No problem, man. Have a good one.
You as well. Salute. That's a good call, man, from the 469. Well, hey, Cowboy Nation, we're going to have to figure out things, man, to get this win next week and see if the Eagles can lose. 559, what's on your mind? 559, call back, I guess. Or unless you live right now. Are you here, 559? Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Law?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, man, I think this game was embarrassing, man.
At its best, man.
I think the best thing to do is get rid of Garrett and the whole coaching staff, and they should keep Dak, but they should give him some competition though. I think they just hand it to him. I think they should bring in someone like Matt Moore or somebody to compete with him in camp. And I want to know your thoughts on that.
Well, here's the thing, and the Cowboys struggle with this. We looked at the Ravens, and I hate to use this because the guy's playing out of his mind, right? But what the Ravens did was, and Austin Newsom, he's a tight end. He played tight end or what have you. So he knows how to make the quarterback play works for him, right? Here's the thing.
Right.
A quarterback best friend will always be the tight end, especially in a pinch. But what the Ravens did, they said, all right, we're not going to just get one tight end. We're going to get two explosive tight ends. We're going to play to his strength. We're not going to conform or try to transform him into something that he's not. We know for sure that we drafted this guy as a quarterback that's out of this world that can make plays with his legs. We're not going to force him to be a drop-back pocket quarterback. We're going to put some tools around him to help him out. On top of that, we're not going to talk about money as it relates to not getting a player that's proven. They went out there and got an Earl Thomas, right? They went out there and made sure that their front four is nasty as it relates to the defense. They didn't fold up like lawn chairs and these sorts of things, talking about the money aspect of it. They went out there and said, this is what we need to do in order to put this team in the right perspectives. And that's what they did. Now, the Dallas Cowboys on the flip side, we'd say that all the time, we don't need an Earl Thomas. We got what's the guy named Woods, you see? We don't need a front four. We don't need somebody that can be gobbling up somebody in the inside. I trust my guys. I trust Antoine Barbecue Woods. I trust a number 96 of Malik Collins. I trust rotating in and out the other guy, Kerry Hyders of the world. We get what we get exactly what we deserve. We got that.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Talk to me.
I honestly think if Dak would go to the Raiders, I think Gruden would use him way better than Garrett would. And that's all I got.
Most certainly. Got to utilize the skill sets of the players. I really appreciate you, man, from the 559.
Thank you.
Salute. Good call, man, from him. This must be raining where you at because I hear the windshield wipers going. Phone number 682-214-4087. Here's the thing. It's okay for us to disagree. That's what life is all about, right? We all shouldn't agree. We're all not on the same page. That's just how it is. But in actuality, we can say one thing. The historical data shows that this team is an exact reflection of what the coach is. Average. And unfortunately, that's what it's been looking like. If you compile all of the numbers and you see what we have right now, we're average. We're not able to get over that hump. And we are holding the L because of that. And it is what it is. Let's see. Dallas kick rocks. I feel you what you're saying. Let me see if I can do this right quick, Cowboy Nation. Really appreciate you all for tuning in. Let me check one other thing because I've seen a lot of people saying Jesse Holly. Let me see.
So I'm saying Fish is likely to be left behind here.
Yeah.
Is with the situation they're in.
What are you talking about? The plane left.
Along with Brian Broaddus, I'm Ari Temkin. We'll take your phone calls and texts at 877-881-1053. You can also tweet us at Brian Broaddus. I am at Ari Sports, ARI Sports. Cowboys lose 17-9 in Philadelphia. They're having a difficult time getting an American Airlines flight out of Philadelphia. And really, their season seems to be in the same sort of spot. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Yes, indeed. So they still talking about the plane is stuck in Eagle Land. Oh, wow. All right, the phone numbers are 682. Just give me a call whenever you get a chance. The number 682-214-4087. I'm going to try to keep this thing going for a couple of more minutes here. Dak won 40, but not really playing like that. I don't know. We don't know Dak's number. We definitely don't know Dak's number. There's nobody who confirmed or denied that he wanted $40 million. But I can say that he's not playing at the level that we want him to play right now for anything that's north of 33. And that's just the reality of it. We are in a situation whereas we got to say to ourselves, man, it is what it is. South of heaven, he said, damn trolls, let them troll today. You know, they earn their right to troll today. As long as there's no personal attacks, they can troll today, man, on the nation. They earned the trolling ability right now. Dak is a $33 million max. This is from Raul Morales. Yes. I mean, they probably going to franchise tag him. And my thing is with this Cowboy Nation, if they really wanted to believe in Dak Prescott, they would have paid him his money at the start of the year. They would have said, okay, here's your paper. See what you can do out there. That's what they would have done. But they let this thing finagle its way all the way to this point. And at the end of the day, you get in voicemails. Try to call back now. The line should be open. 682-214-4087. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this thing has been acting up lately. But if you do get a voicemail, leave a voicemail message, and we'll see what's going on from there. Fire Jason Garrett, that's what we hearing, yeah. Let me see what we got here. While y'all trying to call in.
Official.
They still on commercial break. Dark Vader for head coach. Silver Ancient. Zeke is the only one that played with heart. Hey, you going to leave out the kicker? The kicker played pretty good. The kicker played pretty good today. He made those crucial kicks. And it just wasn't enough. It was not enough. Overpaid for $1 million burns. Yeah, this is going to sink into Cowboy Nation for a long time, I see. A lot of people are not going to be able to feel this game the way they want to. All right, Cowboy Nation. I done stayed live long enough. We lost. We hold the L. Shout out to the Eagles for winning today. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, man. I really appreciate you all. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll have no victory music. They have no victory mass at all. Stay tuned to my Instagram. I will post there as well as my Facebook page. We'll post there as well. Cowboy Nation, that's all the time that I have for this, I guess, beautiful day still, because we all alive. But a horrible day as it relates to the gameplay, right? We hold the L's. Antoine, you said you can't get through? All right, man, I'm going to try one more time. Let me know if you guys can get through, and I'm gonna try to leave for one more call. I like to leave off with one more call. Let me know if you can get through now. It's open. The phone line's open. 682-214-4087. I guess this must be jammed or something. Come on in, because I'm ready to get on out of here. There we go. 512, what's good? $512, you're live. $512, what's good? You must got your phone on mute. Call back 512. 609. What's good? Let's see what's going on with this thing. Yeah. Just leave a voicemail message, man. Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Joseph Torres, man. Really appreciate you all. Shout out to Harold. Shout out to Bente that's live over here on my Facebook panel. And shout out to Donald. Really appreciate you all that's here. Let me see if I can do this one little thing. Yeah, they calling in, but it ain't going through for some reason. The phone lines may be jammed. Let's see. It's jammed. I got to do one little thing. And we're going to get on out of here for real, for real. Phone lines must be jammed up. Too many people calling in. Send me a text message. 210 try to call in. All these numbers trying to call in. Let me see if I can go right here. Let me see if I can get this call in and come in right quick. Yo, what's up, man? You live on the Nation, man. Huh?
I usually answer that FaceTime when I called you earlier.
Yeah, what's good, man?
Nothing, man. I just called the gloat like you did when y'all blew it out.
Uh-huh. You live on the Nation, man. You got everybody listening to you now. Go ahead, rub it in before I go. Uh-huh.
I'm talking about I was calling to act a fool with you, man.
I know you was. But you know when I'm live, you know how that goes.
Oh, man, tell your fans and say what's happening, man.
Yeah.
Hey, your show looking pretty good, man. You doing good, man. You got a lot of followers, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. It's not about me right now. It's about you. You got the win. You got the dub. I'm trying to be the bigger man right now. You got the station. You live. Huh?
Honestly, I mean, straight up.
All right, man. You know how it goes, man. A lot of people say they're getting the voicemail. Something wrong with my phone lines, though.
Eagles, baby, yeah. Walk into a win. Walk in there right to you out there, then.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So we'll see what Skip gonna have to say, and Shannon Sharp, and all of those boys, Stephen A. Smith. Skill. Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed, man. I mean, it's so easy for you to see it, and it's crazy for what's your name to can't see it. You know what I mean? Hold on, man. I'm gonna hit you back up, Bente. All right, bet. All right. Hello.
Hey, Law.
What's going on with you, man? 609.
Hey, what's up? This Paul Mills from Trenton, man.
Yeah, Paul. What you got on your mind, man?
Hey, man, these guys played with absolutely no heart today, man. You know,
they did. They played with no heart.
It don't seem like not only Dak didn't practice, but it seemed like our wide receivers ain't practiced neither.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Paul, hold the line down. Hold on for the Nation, man. Keep talking, and I'll be right back.
No doubt.
That's what I'm talking
about. With Dak, man, I think he's growing, but I think he need more pocket presence, man, pocket awareness, man, because there's times when he's supposed to step up into the hole when the rush coming around him and step up and let that thing fly, man. He's not doing none of that. It's like they sitting him back in that pocket just waiting for the people to come. Only thing he know how to do is bail out like how Romo used to bail out with that spin move. But, man, this was a devastating loss for me, man. Like, this hurt. And I hope them players hurt like that too, man. You know what I mean? I hope they don't get used to losing like this, because you get used to losing, man. It's just terrible. Can't come back from that. You know what I mean? Our defense played good, man. Offense kind of stunk it up. Pollard, I'm surprised. Pollard fumbled in traffic. You know what I mean? While we knocking at the door. You know what I mean? It's time for Jason Witten to go. Maybe he could be a tight end coach or something, but Jason Witten got to go, man. He's too old, man. He's just too old and too slow for what we trying to do. You know? These guys, man, the coaching staff, man, they need to start punishing these guys. When they have a sucky game, man, they next practice they should be running.
Yes, indeed, man. I'm
You know
back
what I mean?
I'm back
All
into the fold, man. So what you got on your mind?
Man, all practice they should be running, man. These guys should be running.
Yeah.
When they mess up like this team was decimated, man. They supposed to win this game.
Yeah.
They should be. You know what I mean? This is terrible, man.
Yeah,
I'm broken tonight with this one, Law.
Man, all I can say is, man, I mean, bright lights are around the corner. In moments like this, I do know that it's hard right now for us to even trust the process. But at the end of the day, we are the Dallas Cowboys, and maybe we can get another coach in here to change these things around, right?
Yep. I mean, I don't even if the Eagles lose next week, man, I don't think we deserve it. If we can win, the Eagles lose, I don't think we deserve it, man.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel exactly what you're feeling, man. But all right, man, anything else you got for the show?
Nah, that's it, man. Y'all have a good night out there in Law Nation land, man. Thanks, Law.
Salute, bro.
All right, salute.
All right. That's a good way to end off on this thing, man. I don't know what's wrong with the phone lines, but it's crazy right now. And somehow, one way or another, it just would not let y'all phone goes through. And it's still doing it now. I think, let me see, 469, you live. Let me see if it go through now. Yeah, there's something wrong with it. All right, Cowboy Nation, I'm going to get on out of here, man. Just leave me a voicemail message, and we're going to get on out of here. And I guess 512. Let me see if it goes through now. You live.
Yeah, Law.
What's good, man? I'm about to wrap it up, but, man, go ahead. Let me know what's on your mind.
No.
Talk to me.
No, I feel you. I feel you because you have been being great to us all day, man. And this is Fresco Speaks Again. You probably heard me. Remember me from a little minute ago. I talked to you about a couple of things.
Yeah.
But that safety, I don't know if you realize the safety is still a thing for us, man. It's not a great big deal, but the fact that we couldn't just put a couple people on a tight end and have our safeties cover the rest of the field, that's a problem to me.
Yeah, I spoke that out earlier, Frisco, especially from the aspect of when they said they're going to try to bring Jeff Heath inside the box and play the safety up tight. And then you already know that Xavier Woods, although we love him as a skill set, but he's too smallish to handle those tight ends. It's automatic mismatch.
Just a little too small.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is he don't have that ball hawk. Like I wish we could take the ball hawkness from Jordan Lewis and give it to X Woods. Because if Jordan Lewis would have had two hands on that pass, do you think he would have dropped it off?
Nah. Opportunity missed.
It's just it blows my mind. And another thing, just real quick, I know you're finna get off because you've been paying us a good homage today.
Appreciate it.
The 3rd and 1, when we decide to go to the speed option on the weak side, tell me about that, please. Please tell me about that.
I mean,
please.
When you have a massive offensive line like the Dallas Cowboys got, regardless of how we look at it, they got 3 people going to the Pro Bowl, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, you got Ezekiel Elliott. You want to call a timeout. You want to be able to put your playmakers out there. I do like the package. Right. I do like 13 personnel, but if you're trying to get that 1 yard, I would have leaned more towards 23 personnel, putting a fullback out there, and you sitting there saying to yourself, I paid this guy $90 million, you see. And all we're going to do, if we're going to run this thing 2 times to get this 1 yard, I think we can get it.
Right. And also, just real quick, I'm going to interrupt you, but I know if you don't remember the last time we played Philadelphia and Dak had a long quarterback sneak for like 5 or 6 yards. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
What happened to that play, sir? I just want.
Well. Let me break down the mental of it. You know, Dak Prescott already got a bum shoulder, right? A lot of people say, well, you know, this guy betted on himself. He should be able to play wildly for this money. But no, I can guarantee you, his agent sitting there like, hey, your shoulder's already bruised a little bit. You might not want to run the rock like you're supposed to, and that's just the reality of it. People can say that, hey, Joe Flacco, he was able to bet on himself. You know, when Joe Flacco betted on himself, didn't you know that he had an Ed Reed behind him? He had a Ray Lewis. He had a Sam Adams. He had also a Haloti Ngata. He had all of those big boys. I think Sam was gone at the time, but he had a Haloti Ngata. They had Suggs. They had everybody. Hey, I'll bet on myself too. I'll sit there and say yes, you know. And then he had that other guy that actually helped him out, the guy named Ray Rice, you see. So they had all of those boys. So, yeah. That's why he betted on himself.
I'm going to go ahead and leave you alone with this. I tried to tap in, but hey, Amari Cooper played this game injured when he could have get out and let Ventel Bryant play, let any of them backups play, Noah Brown. He could have let them play this game full speed, but he played injured. I want to leave off with that. Thank you for your time. I want to thank you for everything you've been doing, man. You and Big Game James, y'all did it big. Thank you for the night.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, man. Salute.
Yes, sir.
That's a good call from the 512. Like I was saying, man, I was about to go, but, man, he got me crunk a little bit talking about this team and their inefficiencies and the way we need to do to get these things going in the right direction. Plantar fasciitis is what he have. Y'all can Google that, and y'all can let me know how long it takes for somebody to heal off of plantar fasciitis. 469, what's on your mind? All right. All right, Cowboy Nation. I'm going to get out for real now, man. I smell the food cooking, so I'm going to go grab me something to eat so I won't disappear. You know how that go. Let's go, Cowboy. Let's go.